Internet, I'm Hazel. It is almost Saturday, so it's time to sit down for a quick little vlog. This week, I got my warrior in full PvP blues, and by this week, I mean like yesterday. I think I banged out all of the battlegrounds almost consecutively. It was 22. I looked at my stats screen of the warrior once I was finished, and I've done 22 battlegrounds. Got all my gear, and it's a lot more fun with gear than without gear. In the beginning, I felt kind of like a toddler running around with a foam sword, just kind of like annoying people but not actually doing anything. And then by the end of it, I felt like a toddler running around with a real sword, you know, doing some damage but still not really sure what was going on. But it was pretty fun. My favorite moments so far are execute, obviously. It's like the best button that you get, especially if I'm fighting. So I dueled this rogue. It wasn't really a duel, but it was a 1v1 while I was defending a base in Deepwind Gorge, and this rogue comes up and tries to take it from me, and we have this long drawn-out 1v1 fight, and it's the first 1v1 that I actually win. At the very end of it, I'm at like 11% health, and he's at like 5% health, and I'm just spamming execute like 19 times in a row. But I think he must have had cheat death or something, because it took a lot of executes. But finally he died, and I had like 6% health left, and I won. Best warrior NA. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. Some of my friends want to try some like low CR3s with me. That's a scary thought, but it's fun. And yeah, there's a whole world of plate transmog to explore now. I've only really gotten into leather and cloth transmogs because those are the characters I spend all my time on. But there's some cool swords out there, man. So that was the PvP. My raiding guild, Carbon, we have officially decided to take a break until 7.0, or at least a break from full clears. We may or may not still clear Archimond every week on Wednesdays, just because that doesn't take very long, and then some people that aren't finished their rings yet can finish them up. But, oh yeah, I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved. Raiding full clears on Hellfire Citadel every week. We're getting pretty rough to sit down and sit through, and I'm quite glad that we won't be spending a whole lot of time with those anymore. So I have 2 nights of my week left. 2 nights of my week back. I'm most likely going to keep streaming on those nights and just do some PvP, but I may take some of them off to nap, because naps are a hobby of mine. But we'll see. I really do hope, though, that it doesn't impact how many people end up coming back for Legion. I hope we're able to come back really strong and get all our all-stars back and have a good time once the raids come out in Legion, because looking at some of the early Legion raid testing, there's going to be some cool stuff out there. I'm excited. YouTube and video stuff this week. My video output has been extraordinarily slow this week. I don't have a really good excuse. I've been having a really hard time staying focused. I'm going to redouble my efforts next week and try and get some class reviews out. So wish me luck with that. What else? We went and saw The Force Awakens. I finally got caught up enough in the movies, and I went and saw the new Star Wars movie, and I actually quite liked it. I won't say too much because maybe some of you haven't seen it yet, and there's like some spoilers, but it was a good movie. I would recommend it. And I no longer have utter disdain for the franchise. I still think it's a little silly, but so are a lot of things. I mean, I'm super into Harry Potter, and those movies were pretty bad. So, yeah, I'm in no position to judge. For drawing this week, I did not miss a day, and I have 8 to show you today because I've already done mine today, and then I have the one that I did after I made the vlog last week. So this first one is supposed to be a marigold. I actually did this one. I did this one while I was watching one of the old Star Wars movies. I had it kind of multitasking in both monitors. And then I probably could have made it better with some more detail, but the movie finished and I wanted to go to bed. So that's what it is. This next one is a real quick one. It's 2 arrows and they're crossed, and that's that. This third one was a request. Somebody requested on Twitter that I do a custom version of the Blood Trail Twitch emote, which is from Super Meat Boy. But it's a Twitch emote. If you go on Twitch anywhere and you type Blood Trail with a capital B and a capital T, it'll show this little dude. And they wanted a custom version of him with a hat, and I also gave him a Resto Druid efflorescence ring, because, you know, he kind of exemplifies how I feel sometimes after I get out of an arena where there was like a feral and a death knight beating on me all game. So that is my Blood Trail version. This next one is a Starry Sky. It's another really quick one. I tried to put some stars in the sky, and that was okay. This next one is a cat with a bee. I've been playing a lot of Nico Atsume, which is that game you might have seen screenshots of on social media where there's like little cats in a yard, and that's basically it. They just like play with stuff and you collect them and take pictures and stuff. I've been playing a lot of that, and I wanted to draw a dorky little cat, not necessarily in the style of Nico Atsume, but not in a super serious cat style. So I made this guy. He's kind of funny shaped, but I kind of like him. He's kind of a cute, funny little cat, and he's got a bee friend. For this next one, I again drew with a reference. I find I do a lot better when I'm drawing off of a very specific reference image. I don't trace, but I do have it on the other monitors. I can check to see what kind of proportions things have. So this one is Spire of Autumn, which also has a whole bunch of other names. It's just a blue model, a blue polar model for Warlords. I have it transmogged on 2 of my 3 druids because I love it so much. It's so toothy, so I decided to draw that. And then I did Speedy the Turtle, which is, of course, a Warcraft battle pet. If you're not into WoW, which I don't know why it would be here, but if you're not into WoW, it could also pass as a regular turtle, I think, but it is based off of my Speedy pet from Children's Week. And then this last one was this morning, and this is a candle. So those are the pictures I drew. I want to do more animals next week because I really like drawing animals. I have a much easier time with animal proportions than people, but you can still make them kind of cute, and they're really fun. So for questions, Xenoblade has 3 questions, and they're all excellent. His first question, or her first question, is what class will you play in Blade and Soul? That's pretty easy. I'm playing a summoner. I haven't played a whole lot of Blade and Soul in this last week. Ever since I picked up WoW Arena again, I haven't really been playing Blade and Soul at all, but I know my husband's super into it, and some of my WoW guildies are actually getting into it now too that we're taking a rating break, so I should pick it back up and take another look at it. And I will be playing a summoner. I tried out a destroyer for a little bit, but the summoner just speaks to me. You've got the bees, you've got your cat, you've got flowers, you're cute and little, and it's just my thing. So I've been playing a summoner in Blade and Soul. Asks, what will you main in Legion? For PvE, I'm going to range some sort of cloth ranged DPS. Did I say ranged? I'm going to range DPS? I'm going to main a cloth ranged DPS. I don't know which one yet. I would like to do Priest, but I'm going to do basically whichever one speaks to me the most once I've had a chance to play them. So probably either Shadow Priest or Arcane Mage, or maybe even a Warlock spec, depending on what is the most fun to me once I get my hands on it. And what do you think is better or worse about Blade and Soul compared to WoW? So I actually sat down and thought about this a little bit. A couple things that I think Blade and Soul definitely does better than WoW. The first one is the character creator, and a lot of new MMOs actually do the character creator a lot better than WoW. I can, pretty much every MMO on the market that has come out since WoW has had some kind of a better character creator. If you've seen the Black Desert character creator, that thing is nuts. But yeah, the Blade and Soul's got a really good character creator. It's got lots and lots of options, and I wish WoW had more customization, especially in terms of body type and facial features, but I understand why they're kind of limited with what they're working with. But yeah, the character creator is much better. The combat system, it feels more engaging in Blade and Soul. Like, even if you're not super familiar with all of your buttons, the way that the combos work and combos between other players, it feels very visceral. It feels very impactful. When you're playing, you can really feel yourself hitting things. And it also manages to do the thing that Terra did, where you have to sort of look at something to target it without making me want to vomit, which is quite impressive. So I'm really fond of the combat system in Blade and Soul. But I also don't really have a problem with the combat system in WoW. I know a lot of people get very bored of the hotkey MMO style of things, but I'm still good with it. There's always things I can be doing better, so until I've completely 100% mastered it, I can't complain too much. Having said that, there's a number of things that Blade and Soul does that make me miss WoW whenever I'm playing it, to the extent that I would never really leave WoW. But so Blade and Soul has these, because it's a free-to-play game, it's got, you know how sometimes in free-to-play games you'll get an item, but to unlock it you need a key? So Blade and Soul does that, and not only do they have keys, they also have unsealing charms. So you can potentially get an item, and it is double locked, and you have to use 2 consumable items just to unlock your thing that you got. And it can get quite grindy. You can get keys and unsealing charms in-game, but of course you can buy them very cheap for real cash in the cash shop. So it's kind of a pay-to-skip mechanic, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it sucks having an item drop and knowing that you're just not going to open it because, it's too much stuff to use. And keys are fairly expensive, so yeah, I'm not a big fan of the double-locked items. The dungeons are quite grindy, and from what I've seen, the dungeon environments aren't all that exciting. Maybe I just haven't gotten into late game enough dungeons, and it's the early dungeons that look really boring, but the dungeon environments are pretty dull. From what I hear, there is not a whole lot of end game PvE content. It's mostly a PvP game once you reach max level, so that's something that WoW does really well. So WoW has very good end game raids, generally speaking, relative to other MMOs. And then the graphics of Blade and Soul, everybody expects it to be like really pretty because it's new, but the thing is, it's not new. This game came out in Korea like 4 years ago? And they haven't really done a whole lot of updating since then. And then you get this weird juxtaposition where your character model looks really good because they obviously put a huge amount of time at that. And then the world looks kind of crappy. I mean, it's got beautiful colors and it's got beautiful design, but fidelity-wise, it's not great. It looks old. So you have like these really pretty shiny characters running around in a world that doesn't really match, and it kind of looks like dolls playing in a plastic playhouse or a paper playhouse that's kind of dirty. So yeah, the graphics are a little old, and then the thing that actually annoys me the most, and I didn't think this would annoy me that much, but they have and this may be with other free-to-play MMOs as well, but they have the worst problem with chat spam, gold selling chat spam, and just services and chat spam in pretty much all of the chat channels. I have to switch it to my combat log at all times because otherwise it makes my eyes ill. Just looking, it's awful. Chat channels are basically unusable in that game, which is not ideal, and I don't really know how they're gonna fix it. I was on the Blade and Soul Reddit last week, and one of the Blade and Soul staff was actually talking about it on Reddit, and they're like, "We're doing our best, but there's really only so much you can do in a free-to-play game against this." I mean, you could put a minimum level on what that allows you to chat in faction chats, but those people will just bot characters up to that and then chat, and if you get your account banned as a free-to-play game, you can make another one. So yeah, that is that. And that has been my week. If you guys have any questions you would like answered on an Almost Saturday vlog, just leave a comment on the most recent vlog. I'm going to be streaming, right now it's like 4:30, so I'm actually going to be streaming a little later than normal today. I was supposed to stream in the afternoon, but I haven't gotten around to it yet, so I'm probably going to do some after dinner. We're going to be doing some more Battlegrounds and then maybe some Arena. So I'll be doing that, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.